Hey guys, this is my journal club review for November and December. And since I just got out of an interview, I decided to stay in the nice clothes for this little presentation. Um, so, this article is called The Role of Melatonin in the Regulation of Human Circadian Rhythms and Sleep. It was published in the Journal of Neuroendocrinology in 2003. So, the main case problem that attracted me to this paper was the fact that they were investigating melatonin. And I found that very interesting because I myself take melatonin about 3 times a week, and I do find that it helps me fall asleep faster, and that I usually get better sleep on the days that I do use it. And the way that I came across this article was through the biological rhythms class on the Canvas page, but also a personal interest in the subject itself. So that's why I chose the article. So this study is actually a meta-analysis that describes the role of melatonin in the regulation of sleep and the use of exogenous melatonin to treat sleep or circadian rhythm disorders. And then the main research question they asked was, can exogenous melatonin be used to treat sleep or circadian rhythm disorders? And then what is the mechanism behind that? So this question is important or relevant because it can help you answer the utility of prescribing melatonin or telling your patients to get over-the-counter melatonin to help them sleep, or to help people with insomnia or similar disorders with their circadian rhythm. If it isn't helpful, and we're going to talk about that, then other drugs should be preferred, like Ambien or something like that. But since melatonin is a more natural drug, and it's actually produced in your body, that's why it is preferred compared to those more synthetic ones. And then for the methods, this is a meta-analysis, so they were just looking at different studies. So there's really nothing to talk about there. In terms of the validity, this is a valid study because they're looking at different studies, and they were breaking them all down. And the results, I'll talk about those in a second. So to summarize the primary results. So first, endogenous melatonin. This is a topic that they were talking about, is endogenous melatonin and circadian sleep wake cycle and thermoregulation. So what did they find out about that? There's a decrease in heat production and an increase in heat loss, leading to a decrease in core body temperature. And this starts with a rise in endogenous melatonin levels in the evening. That means there's a decreased body temperature in the evenings, pretty much, with the melatonin. And then shortly after a habitual bedtime, a sharp increase in subjective sleepiness and electrophysiological correlates occur. And then they also said that experiments clearly show that the circadian pacemaker drives the rhythms of melatonin synthesis, thermoregulation, sleep consolidation, and EEG activation during wakefulness. The next topic they talked about was the effect of exogenous melatonin on sleep and thermoregulation. And they said they concluded that absolute melatonin production, which varies enormously between individuals, that does not correlate with sleep quality in the elderly or elderly sleep maintenance insomniacs. They next concluded that numerous laboratory studies under stringent conditions clearly demonstrate that an administration of melatonin acutely affects sleep and thermoregulation in humans. They next said when normal melatonin secretion at night is blocked by light, melatonin replacement in their test was 5 milligrams, acutely recovered the evening increase in heat loss and subjective sleepiness, and also theta wave activity in the EEG. So pretty much when people were deprived of their natural stimulant for melatonin secretion, by giving it to them, it can bring it back to them. They next included that the most consistent effect found in those studies was that sleep latency was shorter after melatonin, even at rather low doses. And they next said that melatonin increases sleep efficiency even when given at abnormal times, like in the afternoon. And that was based on the studies that they looked at. They next said that endogenous melatonin has an important role in the circadian regulation of sleep and sleep timing. And exogenous melatonin exerts effects on the main characteristics of human sleep, i.e. slow wave sleep, sleep spindles, sleep latency, and sleep consolidation. Then the next topic that they talked about was the effects of exogenous melatonin on circadian rhythms. And they concluded that these data suggest that it is difficult to phase delay human circadian rhythms by exogenous melatonin. And it appears that the precise timing of melatonin administration is crucial in order to exploit its chronobiotic properties. They're pretty much saying that you can't phase delay somebody by giving them melatonin. And then the next topic is the implications for the treatment of insomnia and circadian rhythm disorders. One study they cited concluded that melatonin is most effective in elderly insomniacs who chronically use benzodiazepines or with documented low melatonin secretion during sleep. So the elderly who have low melatonin benefit from exogenous melatonin. And then they said, overall, these studies do not provide strong evidence that melatonin can help phase shift the circadian rhythms of night shift workers. And then in conclusion, they said that melatonin has direct effects on sleep-inducing thermoregulatory mechanisms, like I said earlier. And there is clear evidence that melatonin induces phase shifts, particularly phase advances in human circadian rhythms. And then I'm going to describe why these results can or cannot be applied to my own patients or situation. For my own situation, I personally take 10 milligrams every other day or so. I don't take it every night. I usually don't have a trouble with sleeping, but I do notice that when I take the melatonin, it's a little better, and I'm not quite as restless at night or getting up as much. And then conclude with your own decision of the utility of the study and my practice. Well, it's clear to see that based on the study, melatonin can be beneficial, especially if I have a patient who's having trouble sleep, and I'm not someone who's going to be specializing in sleep or even failing medicine. This is something I can easily, recommend to them along with sleep hygiene to see if it works for them instead of going up to the next level like stronger drugs. So this does have a lot of utility in my future practice and probably something I'll incorporate. So that is all. Thank you.